the
I mean,
thought
could
process?
be. I think that I know that as my show has grown and as my YouTube channel has grown, I've had lots of people reach out. Hey, I've got this case. Can you help me with it? No, I am not available. You cannot hire me. I can give you some recommendations of other lawyers. I can tell you what kind of lawyer to look for in your area. But I know that that happens as it's just a name that people recognize when people don't know how to hire a lawyer. They're like, look, if you're going through something and you hate the other party, do you want the lawyer that's going to be mild about it? Or do you want the lawyer that's like, yeah, you're my client. You hate them. I hate them. Let's go. And so I can absolutely see it. His Twitter profile indicates that he's a former legal commentator for the news. I don't know if that's something he wants to get back to. We don't have a conversation like that. It's normally I talk about things and then I get an email saying, but you didn't say this and this and this and this and this. And I'm like, oh, thank you for your input. So, I mean, you can
Tell me
gain
about it.
clients. You
You
can
and me
gain
both.
clients. Yeah, you can gain you and me and everyone both. You can gain clients from it. You get your name in the what realityblurb.com and what have you. And I think that there are different ways to go after cases, and we're seeing it play out very differently because there's a special attorney on the other bankruptcy that's going after marital assets whose name half of you probably don't know, because what you're not seeing is him and Erika going back and forth publicly. I'm sure Erika's lawyers are talking to Boris Trazian behind the scenes, and they're trying to figure out what co-debts are owed in that bankruptcy. But we've seen none of it on social media.
Do you think Erika's lawyers, because like you said, whether she knew or not isn't really, it's what has happened since she has known. So I get staying on the show because it's the salary and you need the money. Like, let's talk about the social media and the show. I mean, like, do you think her lawyers, like, are they just having a breakdown every day? I mean, like, I understand the Fenty and sponsorships, but that's gone now. Like, I mean, what if this was your client? Would you just say like you could say goodbye on Instagram, like make a statement, goodbye everyone, I'll be back in 3 years? Was that what you would advise someone?
It's interesting because with Fenty and with contractual relations as a lawyer, I feel like sometimes there can be almost a conflict because the lawyers still want to get paid. So your client still needs to work and make money. I talked to Evan C.
Huh.
Borges, her lawyer for the bankruptcies. He is not a particularly social media savvy individual. I brought up some things that were on Twitter and said, do you care to comment? He's like, I haven't even seen these yet. I don't get the sense that Erika's calling him every day going, they said this on Twitter, they said that on Twitter. Because if she does, most of the time you then have to pay your lawyer for making that phone call. So I don't think her lawyer and I don't know about her family law attorneys that are dealing with the divorce, but I don't think her bankruptcy lawyers are giving a lot of guidance in that realm. That's not the gist I got from the conversation. Some lawyers are just like, look, what you're doing on social media is what you're doing on social media. You're not in bankruptcy. You're not under criminal investigation. There's nothing to curtail your speech. Nothing's curtailing this other lawyer's speech who's flaming you out on social. So why am I going to tell you to curtail your behavior? I mean, maybe a conversation about decide what persona you want to give. I think the best advice we've heard has come from PK this season. And I never thought I would say that, but PK is like, look, it's a bad look. Yes, PK. Yes, it is. But also, is this going to be her phoenix from the ashes? I'm keeping this hit list of who was with me and who was against me. And we're going to lean into the Erika Jayne persona.
Well, that is on, at least on air, where she seems to be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I've said this before, you're a lawyer. I mean, why are you so mad at Sutton? Like, listen, I would, Sutton has a lot more money than I do, but I mean, for Sutton, what is it, $500 an hour to go see your lawyer and say, I mean, I would do the same thing. I didn't care how much it costs.
Yeah.
I would say, like, this is the situation. I have nothing to do with it. I'm in this. I assume I have nothing to worry about. I'm 99% sure, but tell me that I don't. Just 5 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour. Here's the case. Oh, I have nothing to worry about. Okay. Cause there's a reunion. Great. Thank you. I mean, is it too much, you think, with like this undying loyalty? Like if like she were your friend, if she were my friend, I would say I'm not abandoning ship, but did you do this? Did you know? Like I mean, you could tell me, like, just
yeah. I'm your friend and I want to have a real conversation with you. Yeah. And I probably would approach that not on air because a real friend's not going to ask her those questions with cameras rolling. But I would have liked to have seen, I don't understand why she was so angry at Sutton, but I got these calls from friends in my life that know I love housewives as this was starting to break, going, what is actually happening? Like, what the actual F is going on? And people wanted to
Yeah.
understand. And I got that sense from Sutton too. Like, is this a problem for me? And what does this even mean? After reading the LA Times article, if I had a lawyer on dial on my phone and people have me on their phone, they called and were like, explain to me all of this. So I understand where Sutton's coming from. I understand what Erika was like, okay, miss, my reputation. Well, we did see Lisa Rinna and her daughters get dragged into this on social media, didn't we? Like, it's not as if Sutton's concerns were that outlandish. And I also think it's kind of splitting hairs, which Erika is in no position to do this season, splitting hairs saying, look, you called me a liar. And Sutton's like, I'm not calling you a liar. I said, you haven't given us the whole truth. There are things you're leaving out and this doesn't make sense. And those are just facts. Not everything Erika shared has made sense unless there's stuff behind the scenes we don't all know. What everything she shared does not add up and it's confusing. And Sutton called it out and said, you haven't been completely transparent. She didn't call her a liar. She said, you have lied about things. You said it was this with the car accident with the ankle, but you lied by omission. You left out all this other information. So
yeah. And I just want to know, and I'm not turning my back on you. I'm just curious. This doesn't make any sense to me.
And I'm not going to be blindly loyal. And it surprises me because, Rinna and Kyle seem to be acting like they're blindly loyal. And then you see Kyle at dinner with Dorit and the husbands are just taking the piss out of Erika and they're all just laughing behind the scenes. I can't wait to see that come up at the reunion.
Well, that's why apparently Erika speaks to nobody now, I guess, except for Rinna. That's, I think, the current status of where we are with this whole group.
I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. I don't follow the offline stuff as much because there has been so much going on in the world of the legal pop culture. And I have been very busy reading legal documents, but I wouldn't be surprised if Erika felt hurt. But she said, you're with me or you're against me, which I also don't think is a fair position if she's not being fully transparent. If she had been fully transparent and sat down and was like, this is everything I know, this is how it went down, with me or against me, ride or die, I get it. But she hasn't been clear with them. So how can they make that decision?
How can they make that decision? I mean, if she came out and said something like, I want to make a statement towards the victims, or I mean, legally, is her lawyers like, you cannot show any remorse for the victims or make a statement, or just legally that's a bad move from you for you?
I can't imagine.
If that makes sense.
Legally. No, I can't imagine legally how it would hurt her to say, I see what's happening and I'm horrified to learn that this is the case. I had no idea.
Right.
I can't see if that's the truth. I can't see how that would hurt her. And even if she had an idea, I don't know why she couldn't make a statement saying, as I'm seeing everything come out in this bankruptcy, there are things I'm learning that are new things every single day. And I'm devastated for those that have been so negatively impacted. I don't know why. I don't know if she's still loyal to Tom. I don't know. And if she is still loyal to Tom and isn't angry at him, it leans more towards what you and I talked about the last time we talked, when it's like, did they come up with a plan? And Tom's like, this is how you get clear of me. And this is how you go on with the rest of your life. I'm in my 80s, and I'm going into a nursing home and I'll be fine. My brothers that I've been paying on my payroll will take care of me. Then maybe that's why there's loyalty there. I don't know if your loyalty changes after 20 years of marriage. If all of this came out and I had no idea, the rage, you wouldn't be able to contain my rage, the fucking rage.
Right. Like you wouldn't be loyal. You would just be like
angry,
very angry, which she does seem angry.
She does, but who's she angry at?
Right.
She's angry at Sutton for questioning her. And I know we saw it in the trailer for the reunion that we haven't seen yet too, where she's, Crystal says, but are you angry at Tom? And Erika's like, am I angry enough for you now? It's like, well, you've never said it though. You've never said that he's left you in a terrible position. You've never said that he betrayed his clients and that his whole persona and reputation and identity was fighting for the little guy. Like, you've never said that. So how would anyone know?
How would anyone know? If she went past making a statement like, this is horrible and I'm horrified to learn this, and she did things like what Ronald Richard suggests, or others, like if she now started saying, I'm going to sell my clothes, I'm going to take all this second bedroom that we see on the show it's all going to be, and I'm giving this money to the victims. It's not going to be close to what they deserve, but like, is that something the lawyers could say, like, you can't do that? That's basically,
I
like,
would tell her
coming.
absolutely not to, because
Right.
when we talked earlier about trying to settle everything she's facing, whatever assets she has, they have to be strategic with, because if she hypothetically, if she was like, I'm selling the whole glam room, I'm selling the Jaguar ring, I'm selling everything, and I'm giving it to Ron Richards because he was on Twitter making settlement offers
Right.
that are
Demanding
supposed to be
it.
confidential and private and shouldn't be made on social media. And I have a whole ton of issues with aside from that. But this kind of shakedown on social media of, hey, we'll take less of our fee if you just do it now, which he knew she wasn't going to do, and probably knew that in conversations with her lawyer too, and still put it out on Twitter to look like he was doing something.